She'd come to the point where she didn't want to just work for a company. She wanted a stake in the business, a business she had helped build into one of the top ad agencies on the East Coast. She had worked hard, and she knew she deserved it. As an only child, she had grown up in a family where money had always been tight, but she had been lucky. While her parents couldn't give her a lot of material things, like fancy clothes and vacations, and she'd had to miss out on dance and gymnastics lessons, she always knew she was loved. Her parents encouraged her to believe anything was possible. So, she decided early on that when she grew up, she never wanted to have to worry about money like her parents always did. And neither would her parents. She'd take care of them. Haley walked back over to the dolls. An account like Tyler Toys didn't come along very often. This was her chance. There was just one small thing standing in her way, or more like one very important person, her boss. To Haley, Larry had always been much more than just a boss. He was a mentor. He had taken a chance on her, hiring her right out of school. He had been tough, but always fair, always pushing her to exceed expectations. He had taught her how to always think outside the box, to never take no for an answer, and to always stay one step ahead of the competition. So, when Haley got an insider tip that Tyler Toys was thinking about hiring a new ad agency, she immediately worked her contacts and found out that Tyler Toys' president was attending a baseball game in Boston. She pulled some strings and made sure to get tickets for that game in the same box. By the third inning, she had him agreeing to come in for a pitch meeting. The meeting was in 2 weeks, right before Christmas. It was perfect, right up until Larry decided that another VP at the agency, Tom, should do the pitch. Haley shuddered just thinking about it. There was no way she could let that happen. Tom was also vying for a chance to make partner, and they had been competing against each other for the last 2 years. Haley had nothing against Tom, personally. He was about 10 years older than her, married, with 2 kids under 10. He was a nice enough guy. He just wasn't the guy she was ever going to let steal her promotion. It wasn't personal. It was business. Haley sat back down at her desk, her eyes filled with determination as she stared down the dolls. Her little one-on-one with them was suddenly interrupted when Larry walked into her office. Immediately, she sat up straighter and smoothed an imaginary wrinkle out of her impeccable black dress. "Good morning," she said. "Good morning." He smiled back at her and then did a double take when he saw all of the dolls lined up on her desk. "Haley, what are you doing with the Tyler Toys dolls? Those were supposed to be sent over to Tom." When Haley quickly stood up, she accidentally bumped her desk, sending the dolls toppling over like dominoes. She ignored the mess. She was on a mission. Feet apart, hands on her hips, chest lifted, and head held high. She was assuming the position, the Wonder Woman position. She had perfected the power pose over the years after learning how it was supposed to give you an instant shot of confidence. It had always worked for her before, and she was counting on it to work this time. She smiled her most winning smile. "Larry, I want to pitch the Tyler Toys account. I'm the one who brought us the lead. Exactly what you asked me to bring in a big account. I should be running this pitch, not Tom." She locked eyes with Larry. She wanted to make sure he knew just how serious she was. When she saw the look of surprise in his eyes, she just kept smiling and posing. Wonder Woman would have been proud. The only way you ever would know she was nervous was that her hands on her hips were pressing into her skin. Hard. She watched and waited as Larry walked up to her desk and picked up one of the Tyler Toys Christmas dolls. The doll's hair was messy from her tumble, but somehow this made her look even more endearing. Larry smiled at the doll. "You know, a Tyler Toys doll was the first doll I ever bought my daughter Shannon." He shook his head. "We gave it to her for Christmas when she was about 6. It was the only thing she wanted. She was so excited about it, she didn't even open any of her other presents." He shook his head as he remembered. "She named her Grace and insisted the doll had its own plate at Christmas dinner. Grace instantly became part of our..."